loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
When was the last time you did something new? When was the last time you had a first time experience? Welcome to Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking about with Anne Bernard, host of 365 First Podcast, creator of the 365 First Challenge, and master of first times. What we're talking about today, how can we use first time and new experiences to enhance our well-being? Welcome, Anne.
Wow, thank you for having me.
Let's get right into it. How can we use first time and new experiences to enhance our well-being?
Many different ways. But it's a great way to explore. So sometimes when we talk about improving our well-being, so mental, health, well-being, it can be like, okay, that's boring. It's just like, how can I make it fun? So there's certain things that we've already tried. Let's say you're trying to improve your health, lose weight, whatever it might be, and you don't want to do those things again. So it's a great way with first time and new experiences, start exploring those things that you've never tried, or even maybe those things that you've never considered, right? So, one of the trends that people talk about is taking like ice bath or ice showers. So cold showers. If you've never done one of those, well, you put it on your list and you try it out. Like, okay, let me have that first time. Let me have that experience that I've never had. So now it makes it more fun. It makes it more unique. And it gives you an experience and it gives you a story to tell. So it's a really good way of just reshaping how we want to achieve, better health and well-being.
Okay.
So it's being original in all of those different things. So, for example, in the 365 First Challenge app, we have all these different categories where you can easily explore those. Because sometimes, too, it can be hard to think like, okay, well, what is something new? How do I find new things to do to explore? And so the 365 First Challenge app makes it very easy to do that. So especially when it comes to fitness and exercise, you might not even be aware of how many activities and how many different things are out there and how easy it can be to tap into those. I think that's one thing that perhaps the pandemic and the COVID-19 has made us more aware is that there's a lot we can do from home. There's a lot we can access on YouTube and on the internet. And then, watch a video, watch an explanation, and then, apply it and try it. And let's say you pick up the practice of yoga, right? Yoga is very good for your health, very good for your well-being. But there's so many different types of yoga. So doing yoga might be a new experience. And then the different poses in yoga can all be a different first time that you set a goal for yourself. And some of those yoga poses a little harder than others. So, then as you are making your list, okay, yoga is going to be my key well-being thing. And I'm going to, make a list of these different poses. And then when you reach that pose, then you get that release of all the dopamine because you're excited that you achieved that goal. And then that gets you excited to, work harder at meeting the next one. So that's how you start leveraging first time in new experience to hack yourself, to stay inspired, to stay motivated and excited to work on, your health and your well-being.
Somebody's listening and saying, and it's easy for you to talk. I mean, you're an entrepreneur. You basically set your own timetable. I am a mother. I am a father. I am a student. I have so many different things juggling. How do I then find the time to do what you're saying I should be doing?
Oh, well, I guarantee that no matter how busy that you are, if you really look at your schedule, you can find time where you are not doing anything that is serving you and your health and well-being. And that's watching, TV or watching movies, spending too much time online, on social media. That's time that you can recover and apply to a 10, 20 minutes of doing something that is new, that is unique, that inspires you. And then you'll see that that's actually serving you so much better. It might be a little difficult at first to say, well, instead of, sitting down with Netflix or this movie or TV, I'm going to do this. And then it starts engaging you, and then you're going to prefer doing that over, wasting your time just vegging. Because when you start engaging your mind, it's going to want more of that. Or, you can learn to juggle while you're watching TV. You can do multiple things at once. That is another option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is better for your mind, your well-being, if you do take the time to quiet everything else out and to focus on one thing. That, the state of mindfulness is extremely helpful for releasing stress and for helping you being, in a better state of mind, a better mood. And so if you're getting those great rewards, those great payoffs on the back end, then that should make it easier for you to find the time.
I know you've been enjoying the conversation, but we're going to take a little break and get a word from our sponsor.
Does your business lack branding? Having difficulty realizing your vision? Look no further. Splinth Brand Design Consultancy specializes in developing personal and business brands. Services include strategic management, website creation, social media branding, and more. Visit them online at www.wearesplint.com. Splinth, the brand you need to succeed.
Is there and you've had several, but is there any one first time or new experience you've had that you can see that it had a direct connection on and it enhanced your well-being that you'd be willing to share?
I would say actually the example that I use with yoga, because it is something that keeps me, engaged with it to get better at it, and then to, strike that new pose. And I'm still trying to get my handstand. It's a work in progress. That one is. But there's many little ones. Like I went and did archery, and I went and did axe throwing, and well, they're a lot of fun, but there's a low level of danger to them, and that always puts me in a state of peace, believe it or not, because it puts me in such a focused state of what I talked about, that mindfulness, that the stress melts away. Because yes, I am an entrepreneur. I work crazy hours, and I am always multitasking, and I always have so many things coming at me that when I can completely quiet my mind, that's a money maker for me. It's such a relief.
That whole idea, though, of being able to quiet your mind sounds like an elusive concept for me. So I it's a work in progress for me, because I find sometimes that even when I should be settling down and resting, my mind is still active, thinking about things that are a couple months down the road, or because I'm in a constant state of planning, whether personally or professionally. So I'm listening, and yes, it's for our listeners, but it's also for me. I'm also internalizing what you're saying. I would
definitely, because that. So number one is I did a glass blowing class with it's a torch, and it's so hot, and you can hurt yourself. So there's no time to think about everything else. The glass is melting, and you have to shape it, and you have to be careful to not burn yourself. And when you're in that kind of moment, that is where everything else melts away. And afterwards, you're just elated because the brain chemicals are released. You get that stress relief. And you feel so good. I mean, I was just all giddy afterwards. And my stepmom came with me, and the same thing. She was like, "This was so awesome, and it's so great. I have to do this again." And just the excitement, and that it's priceless to be able to have those experiences.
Nice. As we're wrapping up, anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about first time and new experiences and how it can enhance our well-being?
I would just say start small and explore from there, and understand and realize, don't put pressure and stress on yourself, but, slowly get into it and start feeling those benefits, and you'll see how they rack and stack, how they make you a better learner, and you'll get all of these other benefits from it. And then I invite you to come to the 365 First Challenge Facebook group. So you're with other people who are constantly exploring new things, and you get that assistance, that support, more encouragement, and motivation.
Thank you so much, Anne. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
This was Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. Until next time.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.